Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over all the creatures in the Eternal Cylinder Beta. For the animals that I have compendium entries for, I will include that, but just know I do not have compendium entries for every single animal, because when you get to that part of the beta, you can't always see every single animal. And remember to leave a like if you enjoy the video and subscribe for more Eternal Cylinder content. And please comment down below which animal in the Eternal Cylinder Beta is your favorite, because I would love to hear about it. The very first creature you encounter is the Hophopop, which looks like a grasshopper and drops green pods when it feels threatened. This is a skittish creature and quite frail as they die after dropping 4 pods. These Hophopop pods give the Leaping Legs mutation when eaten. If you want to know more information about this mutation or any other mutations I mention in this video, then check out my other videos that go over all the mutations in the Eternal Cylinder Beta, which I will link here for you guys as well as at the end of the video. Pouchfish. This is a large blue fish you can find in the water and gives the storage body mutation when eaten. Leaptail is a small, fast fish that spawns in most bodies of water and gives the webbed feet mutation when eaten. Finned Jumpfish. This is an odd-looking fish that is more rare than the other two. You can find it much later in the beta in some ponds by the shore, or you can see it jumping in the ocean. Eating the finned jumpfish gives the amphibian body mutation. Bazzabu. This is another thin-looking fish that only spawns in tundra waters and gives the electrogenic skin mutation. Shelled Grolusk. This is a herbivore that looks like a snail, but it can also come out of its shell. These are shy creatures that hide in their shells when anything gets close. When the shelled Grolusk leaves its shell, you can grab the iridescent pearl inside the shell for the iridescent skin mutation. Sackfly. This is a fly that has a liquid sac and is usually found around water. The sackfly can drop the liquid if you jump near it, and this liquid will regenerate your stamina. Eating the sackfly will restore some health as well, making it a tasty meal. Glickbol. This is a defenseless creature and has 3 stages in its life cycle, the Glickbol being the first stage. They are legless and are prey to every predator. Glickbol can deal small damage to you by rolling into you, but they are easy to avoid, and they only do this if you grab one of their herd mates, so you don't have to worry about them hurting you. Killing a Glickbol allows you to pick up its head, and eating it gives you the legless ability. Tongelgroplet. This is the second stage of the Glickbol's life cycle. It is a large herbivore that will defend itself from anything it thinks is a threat. It will warn you by shaking its body and growling, so that way you don't get too close. If you ignore these warnings, then it will charge you and do a deadly roll attack. So keep your distance from these herbivores. Blue Tongelgroplet. This is a regional variant of the Tongelgroplet, and this is what Glickbols that live in the tundra turn into. It has the same behavior as Tongelgroplets, the only difference is that it is blue, has a lighter skin color, and white stripes. When the blue Tongelgroplet is killed, it drops the Tongelgroplet organ, and eating it gives the mixer body mutation. Tongelgrop. This is the final stage of the Glickbol's life cycle, and it is fierce. This is the apex predator of the savannah and goes after anything it considers food, even its own kind in its first and second life cycle stages. It can shoot acid at its prey or deal massive damage with its mighty claws and body. Makes you feel not so bad for all the Glickbols you've killed, knowing that they will turn into this monstrosity. When this predator is nearby, you will hear this unique music. If you manage to get a Tongelgrop killed, it will drop the Tongelgrop acid pump. Eating this pump gives the toxic trunk mutation. Omnogrom. This is a predator that is basically just a giant set of jaws. It will chase any prey that gets close to it, but otherwise remain still. The Omnogrom has a limited field of view, so as long as you avoid its eyes, it will not see you and chase after you. The Omnogrom will spit you out, however, if you have the aposematic skin mutation, because you're too spiky to eat. And when an Omnogrom dies, it drops an Omnogrom pellet. Eating this pellet gives you the irascible trunk mutation. Blue Omnogrom. This is a regional variant of the Omnogrom, suited for life in the tundra. It behaves the same way as the normal Omnogrom, it just has fur in a different color and pattern. Springworm. These are small bugs that have two heads and they move their way like a slinky around the environment. Occasionally they shoot out springworm excreta, which is somehow edible food for a Trebum. Eating a springworm gives the water processor body. Celestial Trewhaala. This is a giant serpent that lives high in the stratosphere, but occasionally will lower its long body and head towards the ground. It can shoot off massive lightning strikes at anything that comes near it, even killing Tongelgrops and Trebum like you. Onkifurt Male. These are aerial predators in the savanna that float around looking for food. Male Onkifurt have this unique pattern on their heads. Onkifurt will attack their prey by doing a devastating ground slam and then release a toxic gas to finish them off. While on the ground, the Onkifurt has a large blind spot behind it, giving prey a chance to escape. There is one way Trebum can protect themselves from the Onkifurt's gases, and that is with the filter trunk. Then, you just have to worry about the body slam. Onkifurts don't fly that fast, so it's pretty easy to outroll them if one is chasing you. Onkifurt Female. I'm not sure why they decided to split up the male and female, because there's barely any difference, but the females lack the pattern on their heads, but they have the same behavior as the males, with the exception that females will be sitting on nests to protect their eggs. Sometimes they do leave the nest though in search for food. Trebum can steal the Onkifurt's egg and then break it by throwing it at the ground to gain access to the nutritious yolk inside that restores a lot of health when eaten. Another thing that Trebum have figured out how to do is they notice Onkifurts don't really pay attention to their eggs that much. So if you throw a Trebum egg into their nest, they will incubate it for you and hatch the egg. So if you can't find a Trebum nest anywhere, look for an Onkifurt nest and hatch that Trebum to join your tribe. Great Gaaarh. This is a massive herbivore found around desert environments, and you can only really see one of them in the beta. It has a long, weird-looking mouth that is like the entire length of its neck. Like, look at that, and then it can roll up its upper lip perfectly, and it has a bunch of teeth on that too, somehow. According to the description from the website, the Great Gaaarh, when it opens its mouth, will suck in anything near it, be it plants or Trebum. So this is going to be a herbivore to look out for when you are exploring in the real game. Luckily, there is no way to get close to one of these creatures yet in the beta, so you don't have to worry about dying to a herbivore. Articulated Angstocks. These creatures do not look alive at first, they just look like this large structure that's naturally part of the desert environment, or the bones of some creature. But when prey gets close to the articulated Angstocks, they will become active by rapidly growing in the direction of their prey. Once it has gotten close enough to the prey, its head will pop out and try to grab it in its mighty jaws. Then it will crush the prey to death. The Trebum think this creature is a plant, but it is more of a large insect, as it has a hard exoskeleton bug-like eyes, and egg pods. I found the name of this creature by looking at the description of the rattle seed, which reveals that it is an egg pod, not a seed pod. Eating this rattle seed will give a Trebum the rattle trunk ability. Zooshgarg. The Zooshgarg is the deadliest predator from the sky. Whenever this predator gets close to you, you will hear this music to indicate it is coming. And you can also keep an eye on it from this purple light that shines down from the Zooshgarg's body, which makes the Zooshgarg kind of look like a UFO. And in this beam of light, anything within it will get sucked up to the Zooshgarg. So avoid being in the beam as much as possible. If the Zooshgarg does manage to suck you up, well, I hope that you have the aposematic skin mutation, because if you do not have that, you're going to get eaten alive. Since the Zooshgarg does not like eating spiky prey and will spit you out if you have that mutation. The Zooshgarg also eats Glickbol, so if you manage to get one of those sucked up with you, then maybe it will eat that and not you. The Zooshgarg moves extremely fast through the sky, so outrunning it is practically impossible. Instead, you have to try and predict its path and then go the opposite way. You want to move sideways out of the Zooshgarg's path. Running in straight lines does not work. Tripobosh. The Tripobosh is a tundra predator that has no eyes, but an amazing sense of smell. If it smells prey, it will become alert and do a deadly leap towards the direction it thinks the prey is. Tripobosh are fast, but can be outsmarted due to their blindness. When a Tripobosh dies, it drops a Tripobosh antenna that gives the impaired eyes mutation. Foosh. The Foosh is a non-aggressive organism that I have scientifically named Ghosty Boy. These creatures wander around looking for rocks. Smart Trebum have been known to bring rocks to the Ghosty Boys for them to heat up. Standing near the hot rocks will greatly warm up the Trebum in the harshly cold environment of the tundra. And once the rock has cooled off enough, it can be held as a portable heater. Or if the Trebum does not mind having a burned trunk, it can pick up a hot rock immediately after the Ghosty Boy is done warming it up, at the expense of losing health over time as that Trebum carries it. The heat from these rocks can also be used to hatch Trebum eggs. Gargadend. The Gargadend is a carnivorous plant that has the ability to move around and has limited sight. These plants will spread their leaves when they sense prey is close and can shoot a special liquid that will immediately knock out their prey for a few minutes. Then the plant can move towards its prey to eat it. The Gargadend has a long tongue that can grab their prey and hold it into its mouth, which will keep the prey in the mouth until it dies. Or gets attacked by the prey's friends, in which case it will let go immediately. Unfortunately, the aposematic skin does not work against this plant, so be very cautious if you see one. I have found that these plants are not interested in eating Glickbol at all, they just have a taste for Trebum. Ocular Orthopod. This is a one-eyed spidery creature that wanders the tundra. When eaten by a Trebum, it gives the analytical eyes mutation. Vuushlop. The Vuushlop is a flying omnivore that will swoop down to scoop up fruit, prey, and even Trebum. The Vuushlop then takes its meal to its home on top of the dendrospiral and forcefully throw it down to eat it later. You do lose a fair bit of health being thrown onto the dendrospiral. However, being up here allows you to get some of these frozen crystals, which can give you the extendable eyes mutation. Frozen Sklaa. This is an alpha predator of the tundra, but has very unique behavior. The frozen Sklaa, as the name suggests, becomes frozen in the cold tundra, but any heat will reawaken this deadly predator. If a Trewhaala should happen to bring a heated rock near the frozen Sklaa's heart, it will allow the creature to thaw enough to move. The more heat the Sklaa has, the more active and agile it becomes. The amount of heat that the Sklaa has absorbed is indicated by looking at the heart and the flesh connecting it to the body. The heart goes from looking inactive to glowing bright red. Then the cord will slowly start to glow red as well as the Sklaa gets more heat. This heat does go down over time as the Sklaa cannot maintain it, and the Sklaa will become frozen once again as it loses this heat. The Sklaa is in a delicate balance, because too much heat can also be deadly to the Sklaa. This is what the heart and the cord look like when the Sklaa has absorbed the maximum amount of heat it can bear. Any more heat after this point will kill the Sklaa, which these smart Trewhaala did to take down the mighty predator. If you notice, the Trewhaala were kiting the Sklaa around a bunch of heated up rocks that emitted so much heat the Sklaa could not take it. When the Sklaa dies, it drops its heart, and the Trewhaala can suck it up and eat it to get the regenerative body mutation. As the Trewhaala think back to the chase, the Sklaa seems to really love Trewhaala meat, as it did not change targets while it was hunting them down, even though there was an Omnogrom and several ghosty boys available. Cleanser. The Cleanser is an agent of the cylinder. These weird half-human, half-car creatures are first found sleeping. You see them here on this part of the beta, and then later you see them near the end of the beta. These sleeping cars can be awakened by other cylinder agents or by a loud Trewhaala. The light the Cleansers emit can strip the Trewhaala of all their mutations one by one, and they will chase a Trewhaala down to try and kill them. If left alone long enough, Cleansers will become inactive. When sleeping, Cleansers can be attacked and will not wake up, but I doubt this will stick through to the live game. Mathmatician. The Mathmatician is the largest agent of the cylinder that we know of, and looks quite horrifying. It has 3 legs and a human head on its chest, peeking out through a crack, along with a very mechanical head. The Mathmatician can activate and communicate with other agents of the cylinder in order to carry out the will of the cylinder. Witness. The Witness is an agent of the cylinder and looks around for Trewhaala. It looks quite weird because it's 2 hands holding a TV screen that looks like an eye. The yellow light from the Witness can take away the mutations of the Trewhaala, stripping them down to their base forms. But otherwise it doesn't do any damage. However, if the Mathematician is near, it can empower these Witnesses so that their beams will shine an intense light that will not only strip away mutations, but also burn and eventually kill Trewhaala that stay in the light too long. Witnesses do have a key weakness though: water. If a Trewhaala shoots water at a Witness, it will short circuit and fall to the ground, and then it is completely defenseless and can be killed. Witnesses can also alert other nearby agents to a Trewhaala's presence. However, this mechanic was not seen in the beta. I only know this from reading the description of the Witness on the website. To get a glimpse at more of the creatures that we can find in the Eternal Cylinder, we have to now take a look at their website, because there are some creatures on the website that were not in the beta. So while we're on the subject of the Eternal Cylinder's minions, let's take a look at the Unifier. It is a large biomechanism that resembles a bacteriophage. Blind on its own, but it's capable of encapsulating a Witness to function as its visual organ, so the Witnesses you will want to avoid in the future. Its auditory sense also allows it to detect targets via sound, so you gotta be very quiet. The coil on the creature's underside is a dangerous weapon. that can produce bursts of electrical energy capable of rapidly disintegrating organic matter. So it's just going to obliterate things. Then we have the Liberator, which is said to be one of the most dangerous servants of the cylinder. It lies dormant underground, disguised as elements which seem alien to the Trewhaala. Once it is revealed, the Liberator will attack. The mask-like structure that at first appears to be its head is its visual organ. The actual head lies underneath and can emit an anti-gravity beam that pulls objects in. The objects are then vaporized by the intense energy field. So that's a no-go there. And is it just me, or does it kind of look like the Hailfire droid from Star Wars? Now let's see the other organic creatures on our world. The Squadaboo. It's a water-dwelling predator capable of mind control. They hunt in small packs, propelling themselves out of the water and into the air, where they can glide over short distances. They use this gliding attack to attach themselves onto their prey's head. When attached, the prey loses all autonomy and motor functions. They are forced to walk to the body of water, where it will drown and be eaten by the pack. So that sounds like a little menacing predator, depending on how hard it is to get them off your head. And the next unknown creature we have is from the desert, and it's called the Grashtuub, which is a cylindrical scavenger, enormous in size, but surprisingly simplistic in anatomy. The creature's hollow interior, filled with spinning rows of teeth, doubles as both mouth and alimentary canal. It is possible for a foolhardy Trewhaala to enter the creature's interior and retrieve rare organs before they are digested. Unfortunately, reaching the center is very dangerous and requires considerable feats of agility. So that means you're going to need to probably use the mutation that gives you the 4 legs so you can move very fast. And I also think the plated body mutation will be very valuable in getting those organs. Let me know which one of these creatures is your favorite in the comments below, and remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more Eternal Cylinder content. That covers all of the creatures that we know of and have seen in the beta for the Eternal Cylinder. I just can't wait to see the full game and see all the variety of wildlife we get. If you want to see all the mutations in the beta, then check out my video here, which goes over all of them. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, good luck outrunning the cylinder in your own games, and see ya next time.